Somewhere in the world, a marketing manager just watched 6 months of work disappear in about zero point 0.6 seconds. You skipped the ad, you probably don't remember it. Honestly, neither do I, which is a little awkward, because that ad was probably beautiful. It had cinematic lighting, perfect color grading, a catchy soundtrack, a clever script, maybe even a drone shot for absolutely no reason. And yet, gone, before your coffee even cooled down. Here's the weird part. That wasn't a bad advertisement. In fact, there's a good chance it was one of the best ads that person had ever made. Because today, making great-looking advertising has never been easier. Open ChatGPT, generate a script. Open Midjourney, generate stunning images. Open VidRush, turn everything into a polished documentary before lunch. A few years ago, you'd need an agency, a creative director, a copywriter, a designer, an editor, a voice actor, someone who insisted every font was slightly off. Now, one person, one laptop, one afternoon. Welcome to 2026, where almost anyone can make advertising that looks expensive. So naturally, advertising should be winning, right? Except it isn't. We're producing more ads than at any point in human history. We're also ignoring more of them than ever before. Think about your own morning. You unlocked your phone, skipped a YouTube pre-roll, scrolled past 2 Instagram ads, ignored a LinkedIn sponsored post, closed an email with the word exclusive in the subject line, then probably watched a 15-minute video about productivity instead. Funny species, aren't we? We complain that companies keep advertising to us, then voluntarily spend hours watching strangers recommend cameras, coffee machines, and keyboards on YouTube. Apparently, we don't hate marketing, we just hate realizing we're being marketed to. And that's a much more interesting problem, because for decades, advertising followed a simple rule. If you could make something better, people would notice. If you could buy more billboards, more TV commercials, more magazine pages, more radio spots, eventually you'd win. That logic made perfect sense in a world where attention was relatively cheap. But look around now. Every app wants your attention. Every notification thinks it's urgent. Every creator wants 30 seconds. Every brand wants trust. Every algorithm wants just one more swipe. Even your weather app somehow has an opinion about premium subscriptions. It's exhausting, not because advertising got worse, because everything became advertising. And when everything is trying to get your attention, your brain develops a survival strategy. It starts saying no, automatically. Not because you're rude, because you're efficient. Your brain isn't trying to find the best advertisement, it's trying to protect something far more valuable: your attention. Which raises a question that sounds almost ridiculous. What if AI isn't killing advertising? What if it's exposing something that was already broken? Because maybe, just maybe, we've been asking the wrong question this entire time. Everyone keeps asking, can AI make better ads? But almost nobody asks, were advertisements ever the thing people were actually buying? Stay with me. Because the answer doesn't begin with artificial intelligence. It begins with the most expensive resource on Earth. And no, it's not data. It's not oil. It's not even money. It's the thing you're spending on this video right now, your attention. Let's play a game. For the next 5 seconds, try to notice everything around you. The sound in the room, the pressure of your chair, the clothes touching your skin, the light reflecting off your screen, your breathing, the temperature, the tiny noises outside your window. Weird, isn't it? None of those things appeared just now. They were already there. Your brain simply decided they weren't worth mentioning. Because here's something slightly terrifying. You don't experience reality. You experience the tiny fraction of reality your brain allows through. Everything else? Filtered, deleted, ignored, without asking for permission, which suddenly makes advertising a lot less mysterious. Most advertisements don't fail because they're bad. They fail because your brain never lets them in. Imagine walking through Times Square in New York. Hundreds of giant LED screens, luxury watches, Nike, Apple, Netflix, Samsung, Broadway shows, streaming services. Everything flashes, everything moves, everything screams, "Look at me." And yet, if someone stopped you 10 minutes later and asked, what was on the billboard above the McDonald's, you'd probably have no idea. Not because you weren't looking, because your brain quietly decided, not important. Congratulations. You just experienced one of the most powerful survival mechanisms humans have ever evolved. Selective attention. Psychologists have fancy diagrams for it. Your brain has a much simpler strategy. Ignore anything that doesn't help me survive the next few seconds. That sounds primitive, because it is. For almost 300,000 years, paying attention wasn't about productivity, it was about survival. A movement in the bushes, a strange sound at night, smoke in the distance, a face you didn't recognize. Missing one important signal could be fatal. Missing an advertisement for half-price sneakers, not so much. The problem is, your brain never got the software update. It still runs ancient survival code inside a world built by smartphones, algorithms, and infinite scrolling. Which explains something marketers hate hearing. People aren't ignoring your ad. They're protecting themselves. Think about your phone for a second. How many notifications did you receive yesterday? 20, 50, 100? Now ask yourself a harder question. How many do you actually remember? Exactly. Somewhere an app genuinely believed its notification was life-changing. Your brain disagreed. That's the real competition. Advertisements aren't competing against other advertisements anymore. They're competing against your mother texting you, against your boss, against your calendar, against your dog asking to go outside, against the pizza you forgot was still in the oven. Honestly, that's a brutal market. And then AI showed up. Suddenly every company could produce content 10 times faster. More videos, more images, more newsletters, more podcasts, more LinkedIn posts explaining why waking up at 5 a.m. will apparently transform your life. Wonderful. Exactly what the internet was missing. More content. It's a little like solving traffic by giving everyone another car. You don't remove congestion. You create a bigger traffic jam. That's exactly what happened to advertising. AI didn't create the attention crisis. It poured gasoline on one that already existed, because attention doesn't scale. There are still only 24 hours in a day, still only one pair of eyes, still only one brain deciding what matters. which means something fascinating happened for the first time in history. Creating content became cheaper than consuming it. Think about that. Millions of videos can be generated this week, but you still can't watch more than 24 hours of video tomorrow. The supply became infinite. The demand stayed stubbornly human. And whenever supply explodes while demand stays fixed, something loses its value. Here's the twist. It wasn't advertising. It wasn't creativity. It wasn't even AI. The thing that became scarce was attention, which sounds like bad news for marketers until you notice something strange. Some companies don't seem to fight for attention at all. People voluntarily line up outside Apple stores before sunrise. Millions watch product launches for devices they don't even plan to buy. People wear Nike logos they paid to advertise. Lego fans spend weekends building products that came with no discount code, no pop-up, no urgency timer, no last chance, almost as if those companies aren't selling attention anymore. They're cashing in something they earned years earlier. Something I still can't generate: trust. And that's where this story takes a turn I definitely wasn't expecting. The most valuable thing advertising never created. Here's where I got something completely wrong. For years, I thought great advertising created trust. It doesn't. It borrows trust. There's a huge difference. Imagine you're booking a hotel in a city you've never visited. You find two options. The first one is half the price. The photos look amazing. The rooms are bigger. The location is better. The second one is more expensive. Smaller rooms. Nothing particularly exciting. But you've heard of the brand. You've seen thousands of positive reviews. You know people who have stayed there before. Which one feels safer? Exactly. Notice the word we all instinctively use. Not better. Safer. Human beings don't spend money to maximize value. We spend money to minimize regret. That's one of the oldest survival strategies our brains have. If there's a choice between the best option and the least risky option, most people quietly choose the second one. Not because we're irrational, because we're busy. Every day, you make thousands of tiny decisions. What to eat, which route to drive, which email deserves an answer, which headline deserves a click. Your brain can't investigate every option from scratch. It would be exhausted before lunchtime. So instead, it cheats. In psychology, they're called heuristics. I prefer a less academic definition. They're mental shortcuts that stop us from losing our minds. Think about Amazon. When you click Buy Now, you're not trusting a button. You're trusting thousands of previous deliveries that arrived roughly when they promised. Think about Apple. Nobody lines up overnight because a keynote presentation was particularly persuasive. People line up because the last iPhone worked, and the one before that, and the one before that. Advertising didn't build that confidence. Reality did. Even Coca-Cola is a strange example. Imagine introducing Coca-Cola to someone who's never seen it before. No memories, no Christmas commercials, no red trucks, no polar bears, no nostalgia. Suddenly, it's just another sugary drink in a red can. The advertisement only works because your brain already attached meaning to the logo years ago. That's what most marketing books quietly skip. Ads don't install trust. They activate memories. And memories are surprisingly stubborn. Think about the last restaurant you recommended to a friend. Did you describe the advertisement? Probably not. You described the experience. The food came out fast. The staff were actually friendly. The photos online looked exactly like the real place. Notice something. The recommendation wasn't marketing. It became marketing. Because every satisfied customer accidentally hires themselves as part of the sales team. No salary required. That's why word of mouth has survived every technological revolution. Radio didn't kill it. Television didn't kill it. Social media didn't kill it. AI won't kill it either, because humans trust humans before they trust companies. Always have, always will, which makes one modern obsession feel a little awkward. Every week, there's a new AI tool promising to generate better headlines, better thumbnails, better email campaigns, better product descriptions. And honestly, some of them are incredible. They'll absolutely help you create better marketing. But none of them can generate the sentence every business secretly wants people to say. You should try this. It actually delivers. That sentence can't be prompted. It has to be earned. One delivery, one support call, one refund, one product update, one honest interaction at a time. And once you see marketing through that lens, something strange happens. Advertising suddenly stops looking like the engine. It starts looking like the receipt. Evidence that a company is asking for another chance to prove itself, which completely changes the question. Maybe AI isn't replacing marketers. Maybe it's exposing which part of marketing was actually valuable and which part was just expensive. So, what did AI actually destroy? Not marketing, not branding, not persuasion. It destroyed something much more ordinary: scarcity. For decades, creating a great advertisement was expensive, not because ideas were rare, because execution was. If you wanted a cinematic commercial in 2012, you needed cameras, lights, actors, editors, motion designers, a studio, a producer whose entire job was somehow to make meetings even longer. Now, one laptop, one decent prompt, a free afternoon. That's not evolution. That's a price crash, and history has seen this movie before. When calculators became cheap, math didn't disappear. When Photoshop became accessible, design didn't disappear. When everyone got a camera in their pocket, photography didn't disappear. The profession changed. The value moved. And that's exactly what's happening right now. We've been staring at AI while the real story quietly walked past us. AI didn't automate creativity. It commoditized execution. Those aren't the same thing. Anyone can now generate a beautiful commercial, a polished landing page, an email sequence, a logo, a voiceover, a week's worth of social media posts. Amazing. So can your competitor, and their competitor, and the teenager building a startup from their bedroom, which creates a strange new economy. The quality floor has risen dramatically, but the quality ceiling barely moved. Think about LinkedIn for a second. Every morning, thousands of posts appear with perfect formatting, perfect storytelling, perfect hooks, perfect spacing. Somehow, they all sound like they graduated from the same motivational seminar. Here's what running my startup taught me. Nobody talks about this. I learned this the hard way. You know the posts? You've probably liked one. You might even have written one. No judgment. The point isn't that AI writes bad content. It doesn't. The point is that AI makes good content incredibly common. And when something becomes common, our brains quietly stop treating it as special. Remember Times Square? Every billboard was professionally designed. Every screen looked expensive. None of them stood out. Because excellence stopped being remarkable. It became expected. That's the future AI is creating. Not a world full of bad content, a world overflowing with competent content. And competent has never been enough to build a brand. Here's the part most businesses still don't want to hear. Your next competitive advantage probably isn't another AI tool, because if everyone has access to the same technology, technology stops being the advantage. It becomes electricity, necessary, powerful, available to everyone. The advantage moves somewhere else. Always. It always has. Factories became common. Distribution became the advantage. Distribution became common. Brand became the advantage. Brand became common. Customer experience became the advantage. Now AI is making production almost free. So where does the value go next? Think about the brands you genuinely trust. Apple, Patagonia, Lego, Costco, Amazon. They all use advertising, but that's not why you trust them. You trust them because they have a long history of reducing uncertainty. When Apple announces a new product, people don't think, "I wonder if this company is legitimate." That question was answered years ago. Advertising simply reminds you of a decision your brain has already made, which leads to a realization that made me completely rethink modern marketing. Maybe advertisements were never supposed to create belief. Maybe they simply reveal whether belief already exists. Because if your product disappoints people, no amount of AI-generated content can fix that. It might delay the problem. It might hide the problem. It might even make the first sale, but it will never create the second one. And businesses aren't built on first purchases, they're built on returns. Returns create habits. Habits create reputation. Reputation creates trust. And trust, turns out, is one of the very few things AI still can't manufacture. Which leaves us with one final question. If AI can't automate trust, then what exactly is the job of marketing now? So, if AI can write the script, generate the images, edit the video, clone the voice, design the thumbnail, and launch the campaign, what's left for us? More than you think, because AI has made one mistake that humans make all the time. It assumes marketing is about creating something, a campaign, a commercial, a slogan, a story. But the longer I looked at advertising, the less it looked like creation, and the more it looked like memory. Think about the brands you genuinely love, not the ones you buy once, the ones you come back to again and again and again. Apple, Lego, Costco, Patagonia, your favorite local coffee shop. Maybe it's not even famous. Maybe it's just that tiny place where they somehow remember your order before you say a word. That is marketing. Not because they advertised, because they gave your brain something incredibly valuable. A predictable future. Human beings don't crave certainty. We know life doesn't work like that. What we crave is the feeling that things will probably be okay, that this product will arrive, that this software won't erase our work, that this hotel will actually look like the photos, that this company won't disappear tomorrow. Trust isn't built when people buy, it's built when reality matches expectation again and again and again. That's why trust compounds. Every promise kept becomes interest. Every disappointment becomes debt. I can help you write the promise. Only your business can keep it. And that's the part I don't think enough people are talking about. Everyone is asking, how do I use AI to create more content? Maybe that's the wrong question. Maybe the better question is, what kind of business deserves all the content AI can create? Because here's what's happening. The internet is becoming infinitely better at making things look convincing, which means the companies that actually deserve to be believed become even more valuable. Ironically, the easier it becomes to fake trust, the more expensive real trust becomes. And maybe that's the real story of artificial intelligence. Not that it replaced creativity, not that it replaced marketers, not even that it replaced advertising. It removed the excuses. For years, businesses could blame small budgets, limited resources, tiny teams, slow production. Now, a solo founder with a laptop can produce work that looked impossible 5 years ago. Execution is no longer the bottleneck. Character is. Because when everyone has access to the same tools, people stop choosing based on who can make the prettiest advertisement. They start choosing based on who consistently keeps their promises. Which brings us back to the question we started with. If AI can make perfect advertisements, why do we still ignore them? Because we never wanted perfect advertisements. We wanted shortcuts. Shortcuts to good decisions. Shortcuts to fewer regrets. Shortcuts to businesses we could trust. Advertising was never the destination. It was just the signpost. Trust was always the place people were trying to get to. So maybe AI didn't kill advertising. It did something much more uncomfortable. It exposed what advertising had been hiding for decades. Advertisements don't build trust, they spend it. And once you run out, no algorithm on earth can print more. Wait, maybe that's true for more than just marketing. Maybe that's true for politics, for media, for creators, for friendships, for all of us. Because every day, whether we realize it or not, we're all advertising something. Our ideas, our work, our reputation, ourselves. And in a world where almost everything can be generated, the one thing that still has to be earned is belief. Maybe that's the last unfair advantage we'll ever have. If this video changed the way you see marketing, good. That means it wasn't really about marketing. Every week, we investigate the invisible systems quietly shaping modern life, the algorithms, the businesses, the psychology, the incentives, the things hiding in plain sight. Not to tell you what to think, but to give you one more way to look at the world. Because sometimes the biggest changes don't happen when the world changes. They happen when you finally see the world differently. Wait, see you in the next one.